It was a scorching afternoon in Dubai, the kind where the sun feels like it's trying to melt the streets. Inside a luxurious glass tower, Ahmed Al-Fayed, a billionaire with a taste of the extravagant, lounged in his office, swirling a glass of rare vintage wine. The room smelled of leather and wealth, and every object screamed opulence. Ahmed had a reputation, ruthless in business, quick to laugh at anyone he thought beneath him. And today, he thought he was about to entertain himself. Outside the tower, Malik Johnson was wiping down the marble floors with a mop. Malik, just 17, was the son of Angela Johnson, a cleaning lady who had worked in Dubai's elite spaces for over a decade. Unlike the pampered kids Ahmed was used to, Malik had grown up knowing hard work, discipline, and pride in every little achievement. But he had a secret that even his mother didn't fully know how powerful it was. Malik could speak 9 languages fluently: English, Arabic, French, Spanish, Mandarin, Russian, German, Hindi, and even Japanese. Languages weren't just words to him. They were keys to doors most people couldn't even see. Ahmed, spotting Malik from his floor-to-ceiling window, called him in with a smirk. "Son, come here. I have something amusing to ask you," he said, expecting a nervous boy to stumble. Malik walked in, head held high, eyes steady. His uniform was simple, but there was an air of confidence in his every step, a calm that seemed almost out of place in the gold-draped office. "Mr. Al-Fayed, you called?" Malik asked politely, his voice soft but carrying a weight of maturity far beyond his years. Ahmed laughed, leaning back in his chair, fingers steepled. "I heard you're just a cleaning boy, son." "Huh? Let's test something," he said, amusement dripping from his words. "Tell me, can you speak Arabic?" Malik smiled slightly. "Of course," he replied, and in perfect classical Arabic, he recited a greeting and a proverb. Ahmed's laugh echoed across the office, but it wasn't long before Malik switched seamlessly to French, then Spanish, then Mandarin, each accent perfect, each phrase smooth. Ahmed's laughter faltered. His amusement was turning into curiosity, then disbelief. Malik wasn't just clever. He was extraordinary, and Ahmed had just realized he might have underestimated a boy who had been invisible to the world until now. Ahmed leaned forward, the color draining slightly from his face. "Wait, you can do all that? And you're just a cleaning lady's son?" he asked, voice a mix of shock and curiosity. Malik nodded calmly, as if this was normal. "Yes, sir. I've been learning since I was 7. My mother couldn't afford private tutors, so I taught myself one language at a time." The billionaire scoffed, still trying to mask his surprise. "Self-taught? Ha! That's cute. Let's see. Russian." Malik's eyes flickered with quiet amusement. Without hesitation, he switched to flawless Russian, reciting a famous poem, the pronunciation perfect, the rhythm natural. Ahmed's eyebrows shot up. He had expected mistakes, hesitation, embarrassment, anything. But Malik delivered like a seasoned diplomat. "What about German?" Ahmed pushed, his pride now nudging him into disbelief. Malik smiled again and began speaking German, then effortlessly moved into Hindi and Japanese, finishing each with clarity and elegance. Ahmed could no longer laugh. The room felt smaller somehow, the distance between the billionaire and the boy shrinking as Malik's talent filled the space. For a long moment, neither spoke. Ahmed, who had built empires and laughed at people for failing, was humbled, not by money or power or connections, but by a teenager who had learned the impossible through determination alone. Malik, on the other hand, remained composed, his hands neatly folded, eyes steady, unaffected by the billionaire's scrutiny. Finally, Ahmed broke the silence. How did you do this? No one here, no one in my world, does this. Most people can barely speak one language fluently." Malik shrugged, the faintest smile on his lips. "I love languages. Each one is like a new world. And I've always wanted to prove that where you come from doesn't define where you can go." Ahmed felt a strange pang of respect and a twinge of embarrassment. He had laughed, thinking this was a joke. He had assumed, like many others, that talent could only come packaged in privilege. Malik had shattered that assumption, and Ahmed had no choice but to admit, silently, that he was in the presence of someone exceptional. Malik paused. "So, if you like, I could help you with some international deals. Translate, negotiate whatever you need. Ahmed's lips twitched. He wasn't used to being offered solutions from someone he had underestimated. And yet, something inside him stirred, a rare feeling of excitement at the thought of seeing just how far this boy's abilities could go. Weeks passed, and Malik's presence in Ahmed's world became undeniable. From board meetings to high-stakes negotiations, Malik was there, seamlessly translating, advising, and even calming tensions before they escalated. Investors who had once doubted Ahmed now praised his remarkable insight and cultural awareness, unaware that the credit belonged to a teenager who had spent his life learning while the world ignored him. Angela, Malik's mother, noticed the transformation in her son. He walked taller, spoke with more confidence, and even had a spark in his eyes that money couldn't buy. One evening, as she prepared their small apartment for the night, she asked softly, "Malik, are you sure you want to keep doing all this? You could get lost in their world." Malik paused, looking at her with sincerity. "Mom, I'm not getting lost. I'm showing them, and the world, that people like us can stand anywhere, do anything. I'm doing it for us." Angela's eyes welled up. She had always dreamed for him, but seeing him live it, it was beyond anything she had imagined. Meanwhile, Ahmed found himself changing too. He had always been a man who valued power, influence, and money above all else. Malik's presence challenged him to see things differently. Respect, humility, and talent mattered, regardless of social status. He began treating Malik not as a subordinate, but as a partner, even seeking his advice on decisions that could impact millions. One afternoon, Malik noticed Ahmed reviewing a deal that could have led to a massive misunderstanding with an international partner. He stepped forward calmly. "Sir, if I may, the phrasing in this contract could offend our partner's cultural norms. I suggest a slight adjustment." Ahmed studied Malik's notes, and after a moment, nodded. "You're right. Let's make the change." Once again, "Malik, you saved us from a disaster." Malik simply smiled, knowing that action spoke louder than words. Yet, the world outside remained unaware of Malik's extraordinary abilities. People still saw him as a cleaning lady's son, unaware that behind his quiet demeanor was someone who could move mountains with his mind and words. And Malik understood that this invisibility was temporary. The right moment, the right opportunity, and the right people could change everything. The stage was set. Malik had proven himself to Ahmed and had begun to rewrite the rules of what was possible for someone from his background. But the most shocking moment, the one that would stun everyone including Ahmed, was still waiting. The day came when Malik's talents were about to be revealed to the world. Ahmed had invited a group of top international investors and business leaders for a gala meeting, a high-profile event where deals worth millions were discussed. Malik stood quietly at Ahmed's side, polished shoes, crisp shirt, notebook in hand, prepared to assist, translate, and navigate the complex conversations. As the meeting began, investors started speaking in rapid-fire French, Mandarin, and Arabic. Malik moved seamlessly between languages, interpreting, clarifying, and even adding cultural insights that impressed the guests. Ahmed followed Malik's guidance, making statements that were not only flawless but also tactful, showing knowledge that no outsider could fake. The room fell silent at times, astonished by Ahmed's apparent mastery. What they didn't know was that the real genius behind every word was Malik. One of the Arab investors leaned closer to Ahmed, whispering, You speak all these languages yourself." Ahmed smiled, still riding the wave of Malik's work. "Yes," he said, but in truth, every word was guided by Malik. The investor nodded, impressed beyond belief, unaware that the boy standing beside Ahmed was a true source of brilliance. After the meeting, Malik was finally acknowledged publicly. Ahmed stood, raised a glass, and addressed the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess, the man you've been speaking to today is not alone. The real genius behind this operation is someone extraordinary." He gestured to Malik. "Malik Johnson, my youngest and most talented partner, speaks 9 languages fluently and has guided every negotiation you witness." Gasps echoed through the room. A teenager, a son of a cleaning lady, was being praised in a room filled with billionaires, diplomats, and top executives. Malik, usually modest, stepped forward, smiled, and gave a calm, confident greeting in Arabic, French, Mandarin, Russian, and English. The investors were stunned. Ahmed's laughter from the first day had turned into awe as he realized Malik had just rewritten the rules of respect, talent, and opportunity. Angela, watching from the side, tears streaming down her face, could hardly believe it. Her son, the boy who had been invisible, had now stunned the world. Malik had proven a simple truth: no background, no struggle, and no stereotype could limit brilliance, heart, and determination. From that moment on, Malik wasn't just a cleaning lady's son. He was a symbol, a bridge between worlds, and a reminder that true talent shines, no matter where it comes from. Ahmed, humbled and inspired, knew one thing for sure: he would never laugh at someone's potential again. And Malik, with a quiet smile, looked toward the future, ready for every challenge, every opportunity, and every door that his words and courage could unlock. The world had just witnessed the rise of a prodigy, unexpected, unstoppable, unforgettable. Ahmed sat back, swirling the wine in his glass, still processing the reality in front of him. This boy, Malik, had turned what should have been a simple power dynamic into a display of undeniable talent. "You want to help me?" Ahmed asked, trying to master the creeping into his voice. Malik nodded, calm and steady. "Yes, sir. I can bridge gaps that money alone can't. Words, cultures. I can make them work for you." Ahmed chuckled nervously, a sound somewhere between disbelief and admiration. "Most people here wouldn't even understand half of what you just did. You've got guts and brains and apparently patience. But tell me, Malik, why bother? Why go through all this effort when you could have just stayed invisible, like your mother always seems to be?" Malik's gaze softened. "Because I don't want to be invisible. And neither does she. My mother works hard, every single day, cleaning offices like this, while the world barely notices. I learned these languages because I wanted to change that. Not just for me, for her too." His voice carried sincerity, conviction. Every word resonated in the grand office, making Ahmed realize that this wasn't just talent, it was heart. Ahmed leaned forward, intrigued now, genuinely curious. "All right," he said slowly, "let's make a deal. You help me in my international meetings, my business negotiations, and I'll pay you. Not like a servant, not like a token, but like a partner, a real opportunity." Malik blinked, surprised but composed. "Sir, I don't care about the money. I want the experience to prove that where you start doesn't limit where you can go." Ahmed's mind raced. He had built his empire on calculating risk, exploiting talent, and maximizing results. And here was a teenager, disciplined beyond his years, offering skills that could give him an edge he had never imagined. "You've got spirit, Malik. Most people would crumble under pressure, or be too proud to ask for guidance. You're different," Ahmed admitted. There was an honesty in his tone he rarely displayed. For the first time, Malik felt the thrill of being recognized, not as a cleaning lady's son, not as a boy, but as someone capable of greatness. He extended his hand. "Then let's start, sir. I'm ready." Ahmed shook it, a firm grip that acknowledged respect, not charity. As Malik left the office, heading back to his duties, Ahmed watched him go, a thought lingering. He had laughed at this boy at first, and now he couldn't stop thinking about how Malik might just change everything. The next morning, Malik arrived at Ahmed's office early, carrying only a notebook and a quiet confidence. Ahmed was already pacing, preparing for a crucial meeting with a group of international investors who were notoriously difficult. "Are you ready for this?" Ahmed asked, a hint of challenge in his tone. Malik nodded without hesitation. "Yes, sir. Let's make it work." The conference room was massive, glass walls letting in the Dubai sunlight, and filled with men and women in tailored suits, speaking languages Malik could name in his sleep. As Ahmed began the introductions, Malik listened, observing accents, body language, and subtle cues. Within minutes, he whispered translations and cultural notes to Ahmed under the table, guiding him on how to phrase his statements, what gestures to use, and which topics to avoid. The investors were impressed, some even leaning forward in surprise at Ahmed's sudden fluency and apparent understanding of their cultures. What they didn't know was that behind every perfectly timed phrase, every confident answer, was Malik quietly orchestrating it all. Ahmed, usually impatient and sarcastic, found himself relying on the boy's guidance, astonished at how seamlessly everything was falling into place. After the meeting, Ahmed turned to Malik, visibly impressed. "That was incredible. You anticipated every question before it was asked. You're like a human translator and advisor rolled into one." Malik smiled humbly. "It's just practice, sir, and paying attention. Languages are more than words. They are people, culture, and understanding." Ahmed shook his head, a mix of admiration and disbelief. "I have never met anyone like you. Most adults can't handle this, let alone a teenager." Malik's confidence never wavered. "I've always believed that effort and observation are more powerful than titles or money. That's what allows someone like me to succeed where others fail." Word of Malik's skills began to spread quietly within Ahmed's company. He was no longer the cleaning lady's son. He was Malik, the boy who could navigate 9 languages, handle tense negotiations, and impress the toughest business minds. His mother, Angela, noticed the change immediately. For the first time, Malik returned home with more than just pride in his own accomplishments. He came home with stories of respect, opportunities, and doors opening that no one in their circle had imagined. But Malik knew this was just the beginning. While Ahmed's trust and acknowledgement were important, the real challenge was proving that his skills could make a lasting impact in a world that often judged by background rather than ability. And Malik was ready to face it.